It's been a while since I did a Capture One tutorial, and I feel like a lot of things have happened in Capture One, and it's still my editing software of choice, and I still do most of my raw processing in Capture One. So I wanted to bring a few things that I've been using Capture One your way so that you guys can, use them too. One thing in Capture One that has been the most game changing feature for me is masking. Masking or AI masking in Capture One has taken things to a whole new level for me. I'm just going to show you a quick before, after, and after of these images. So this is the before and this is the after. You guys can see before, after. Now, typically when you take a photo of an image, it tends to look pretty flat, but being able to separate your subject from the background, especially when you do with light in post, like I did here, which, obviously my subject is lit, my background is not as lit as my subject. And when you don't have, let's say you don't have enough space, or, you don't have enough grids in the studio, to be able to control the light the way you want to control it, being able to come back to post and fix a few things here is something that is really impressive if you can do it as fast as possible. And that's what masking is doing for us. So what I'm going to do right now is just create a new variant. Where's that? So I'm going to create a new variant of this image, or should I just create a clone variant? Right? I don't even know where that is, but whatever. We'll probably just work with this image right here. And what we want to do is reset this image. So we'll reset this image to its natural state. So Capture One has these masking options right now. So you have your subject and your background. These ones have been here for a little bit now. So basically just use the AI to cut out your subject and create a mask for you. And then we have the people option now, where you can mask the hair, the lips, the eyebrows, your pupils, your iris, your face. But the best part about this is just the amount of control that it gives you. It lets you mask your subject, obviously, your background, a few things like the hair, everything I already told you guys about. And that way you can really dial in the adjustments that you want to make. So and it does it like easily for you. So an example is, if we're trying to fix the background in this image, not like there's anything wrong with the background. Let's say we want to make the background a little darker. Once we click on background mask and you click M, you can see that it has selected your subject, right? A simple way to fix the tiny areas that it does not select is by zooming into it, right? And then you can come here to AI mask, so the brush tool, and just hover it around, and then it's selected area. Now for some areas it might not be able to do a great job. For example, right here, if I'm trying to select this part, the hair, it's just going to want to select the whole hair, and we don't want that, right? So the easiest way to go about that is to just pick a brush tool, make sure you click on this right here to change your flow and opacity, and then you can just come in and then just paint in right here with a low flow opacity. It doesn't matter if we get some of the hair at the edges. That's one thing we want to do to make the mask look real, right? Here we're going to do the same, just paint in all these places. Okay, and then we are good. We have a decent looking mask now, right? One thing in Capture One that they haven't figured out, that I wish they would figure out, is when you use the vignette tool, it still applies, not just to, I'm just going to remove M just click M to remove the mask. It still applies to the image itself, so it's not just the background. And sometimes I like a vignette. I shot with a 135mm Viltrox lens, and the lens is pretty nice in the sense that it does not have a lot of vignettes in, but I do like a little bit of vignette in my images, right? So in a situation like this, you can see that even right here, it is just applied it to the whole image, right? We have our background mask here. What we can do is just increase the mask a little bit, right? The problem with this image right now is that the vignetting obviously has added to my subject being dark. So if I'm trying to bring my subject out, all I need to do is just select my subject, and then now I can make my subject brighter. Very simple. One thing I always like to do with my images is just add some contrast at the image layer with my levels adjustment tool. So if we do look at our subject now, this was before, right? So look at our subject up there. That was before, and this is after. You guys can see before, after. Now we've brought our subject out. Our subject looks really nice and good. One thing you can do is come in here and then select the hair. So it's going to mask the hair. So if we hit M on our keyboard again, you can see it has masked the hair for you, right? And you can do what you want to do with the hair. You can make the highlights pop, as much as you want to, and you can then add some contrast to the hair and just make the hair stand out. I mean, the highlights popping a little too much. But yeah, something like this. So if we see our before and after, you guys can see we have our hair showing, a very simple way to brighten the eyes, let's go to the face and body skin. You can tell it to do that and it will create a mask for the body skin. If we click M, you can see for the face, body skin, and body skin. And what we can do is we can say, okay, we just want the body to stand out just a little bit more. We just want her skin to be a bit brighter. And then we'll have that and look at our before, look at our after. See, our image is standing out a lot now by just using the masking function. And I feel like this is a game changer for images, like the fact that it almost seems like you can relight your images. And this is something I use all the time. What if you are trying to whiten the eyes, right? So that's very simple. All you have to do is go in there, click that, click M on your keyboard. You can see it's picked out the whole white part of the eyes. And what we can do is we can either just reduce our Kelvin for the eyes, and then if we want to make it brighter, we can make those eyes brighter. So let's see our before and our after. You guys can see eyes look nice and bright. I feel like I did that too much, but you guys get the gist of it, right? And yeah, so you just keep going like this. The good part is that you can always just go to your background layer again for color grading. It just makes things a lot easier for you. So now we can come in here and decide how we want our background to look. So if we're trying to add some more warmth to our background, we can do that. We've done that to the midtones, the shadows. Do we want to add some blues to the shadows, or do we want the shadows to be a lot warmer? No, I think we'll just come back, just add something different to the shadows, maybe just a little green there. The highlights, what are we doing with the highlights? Are the highlights going to pop? Are they going to be blue? You guys get it. We can do anything that we want to do with our background. So you can either make our highlights pop, make our shadows, crush our shadows, there's our highlights and the midtones, and I mean, you can come in here and we're still on the background layer, mess with your clarity, if you feel like your background is, that's a little too much, but somewhere around here you're trying to make the background a little softer. You can do that if you want to, but I feel like that what I did was a little bit too much. Or you can reduce the structure, in the background, and that would be, better for you. But there's so many things that you can do when it comes to using the masking tool. And what I'm showing you guys right now is just for portraits. This is what I use for portraits. For example, look at my before, look at my after, look at how my image is standing out in a matter of mere minutes, And the good thing about this is, I really like this color grade I did previously, is you can literally just copy what you've done here. So I'll copy this right here. I'll come here, reset this. And what I'm going to do is just apply it. That's it. And I'll just paste it, let it do its thing. It's going to select all the masks. And that's it. So basically, you can just mess around with this, keep it, and what you can do is take that and use it for other images. So I really, really love the masking in Capture One and the options that we have right now. I think this, like I said, is definitely a game changer. And it also helps with presets. If you guys want Capture One presets, my portrait presets, just let me know. In the sense that now you can do presets that separate your subject from your background. And you can then just go in and either use the preset the way it is to color grade the whole image, or you can just use color grade either the subject or the background. And now you can reduce, like you can come here, reduce the opacity of the background, like you do in Photoshop if there's anything in the background. I don't think there's so much going on in the background right here. If I go back, you can see it's kind of like warm. Come back, it's a little blue. Our subject mask, if our subject's standing out too much, you can reduce the opacity of our subject mask, and then you can bring it back. So let's say we've done it, we can just come here and reduce the opacity, and it just blends in more. So even with presets, it gives you a lot more control. But anyways, that's it. This is something I use all the time and something I wanted to bring to your attention. If it's something that you are interested in, check it out. If you do not use Capture One and you've been thinking about using it, it's an amazing software. And like I said, I've been using it for the longest time, and I love this for my portraits right now. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care of yourself. Have a good one. Peace out, guys.